especially for myself.
Yeah, indeed. Matter of fact, man, great segue because we're going to jump right into that right now. Man, again, It's Yours Radio, live 97.5, Everything Urban, Breakfast Club in the morning. Brian Banks tonight, Donnie-O on the live line with the legendary Dizzy Scratch, a.k.a. Sir Scratch, and transitioning from hip-hop into now, I mean, we talking about, you going your separate ways, and now you have the ability to work with whomever, and you work with the likes of Whitney Houston, the Whitney Houston, Madonna, Levert, just on and on and on. Man, and I'm sure for you, I'm sure that was a dream, being an R&B cat and then working with those folks, man. What was that like?
Amazing. straight up amazing. Again, it was nothing planned. When the group broke up, I was lost, to be honest. I was sitting there like some old chick sitting there with my finger in my mouth like, yo, what am I going to do now? Kind of stuff. I didn't mean it. Let's get back together. And then K-Cut started doing his stuff. Large Professor already had to jump on us by doing stuff for Ever Being Rakim. And then he went on to do a bunch of other stuff. So he had to jump. Then K-Cut started doing his thing. And I'm sitting there in the background. It don't sound like it now, but in the back of the days, I was the shy one. I was older, but I was the shy one. I like to do more of the business end of the stuff with my mom. Mm-hmm. So when it came to my turn, I was just like, And my mom pushed me into it, and she's like, you need to get back out there. Don't worry about your brother doing. Don't worry about Large Professor's doing. Just do your thing. Mm-hmm. I'm telling her, I don't know what that is. And I remember getting a call. I don't remember if it was from MC Lyte, and she was like, yo, I want you to do what you did on your album. I was like, what's that? She was like, just do that vibe. I'm like, okay, I'll just do that vibe. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what producer meant. I didn't even know what we were doing. I was just making music. That's all it was for me, just making music. So when I did that track, it leading on to, she's telling Queen Latifah like, yo, do the same thing. I'm like, okay. And then it lead on to something else, and I was just like, okay. And as I'm doing these different tracks, I'm honing my skill. And I'm realizing, you know what? I'm really liking R&B. I forgot how much I loved it. I was deep into hip-hop. Mm-hmm. Hip-hop was always my bread and butter. And it's in all my tracks today. I mean, it's the foundation for all my beats. But R&B just really, it was in my soul. It was in my gut. And I just started embracing it. I just said, you know what? I'm not going to fight. Let's do it. And that just brought out more of me, and it just brought out my own little shine. And then I didn't realize how much I had more to offer. So I got more confident in it. I went on to do other stuff. I remember when I was hooking up with Poke and Toke from the Trackmasters, they hooked me up with their manager. And my mom was down there, becoming my personal manager, and they hooked me up with Gerald Levert. And I met Gerald Levert, and he's like, yo, you want to do something for my father, Eddie? And I was like, hell yeah. They could have paid me nothing. I would have done it. No. And that song came out. It came out as a remix, but it was what's the song? Stopping You, right? Mm-hmm. And that blew up, and then it just kept spiraling. And this, I went on to do the Madonna track and work with Queen Latifah, the OJs, and, did more movie soundtracks. And, I mean, TLC came, and I was like, the rest of the 35 platinum records later, here I am. And now I'm doing my own record.
Man, incredible. I mean, who would have thought? I mean, I would never think coming from the main source, and like you said, that hard, I wouldn't say hardcore, but that gritty, straight New York sound to what you're doing now.
It's funny. A lot of people said that. It's like, how do you go from hip-hop to straight R&B? I was like, I was always doing it, Mm-hmm. It's just, I just pulled it back a little bit. But now that, the chain was unleashed, I was like, let's go. So, especially after I did the Madonna track, and that was completely unexpected. And people were like, yo, shit, bro, you can do that. And that's what you got.
No doubt.
Like, let's go.
What was the track you did for Madonna?
It's called Human Nature.
Oh, the Human Nature. Okay. Yeah. That was dope.
Yeah, that's the one with her in the box. Again, that was more of a second album with Mikey D. And that song was called What You Need Is the Source. And that's the actual beat from that actual track. Mm-hmm. And in the studio, K-Cut, I left at the time. Mikey D wasn't there yet. And the manager approached me of the studio. I can't remember what studio it was. I think it was Power Play or something like that. And he says, I have a guest out here, and she just wants to say hello. I'm like, bro, I'm in the middle of a session. What are you talking about? And he says, no, let's check it. Let's, hear her out. She just wants to say hi. I'm like, okay. Here comes this small white lady with a hoodie on. She says, hi, I'm Madonna. I'm like, who? She's like, Madonna. I'm like, is Madonna? It's like I love what you guys are working on. My album's pretty much done, but I love this track. You know, is there some way we can possibly work this out? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, well, this is kind of done, but I'm not going to say no to you.
For you?
So let's
yeah, right.
see what we can work out, you know? Well, it was more of I worked out with something with her and a producer, you know, and, you know, the track came out when we were in Europe, and I didn't know it was going to come out. I really didn't. And they just did a whole video for it. It came out, and I just remember my publicist was like, here's your first platinum record. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Wow.
Because I'm put this record out. I'm like, I didn't even know she was putting the record. I thought it was just a joke, you know?
Man.
But she did, and again, believe it or not, the rest is history.
Man, and the check came with that too, huh?
The check came with that. It made all the difference. I bought my first place. I was still just doing rentals, living on a regular card. That changed everything.
Wow.
Everything.
That's dope. That's dope. And then you mentioned what we need. What you need is the source. You actually rhymed on it. I remember you rhyming on that joint too.
Again, my mom. She was like, this time, because we were supposed to rap on Alive at the Barbecue, and I was like, no, Mom, I'm not going to do it. I'm already intimidated by 16-year-old Nas and the rest of them.
Right.
I ain't going to do it. She was like, okay, fine. Next album, I'm like, Mom, we ain't going to do it on no next album. And the next album came out, she put her foot down. She said, you guys going to do it. You guys got to stand out. Largest person out here, you got to do your thing. And I was like, okay, Mom, we're not rappers. I'm a producer, DJ.
Yeah.
She put her foot down. I did it reluctantly, and actually, I kind of liked it.
Yeah,
like,
you did your thing
I'm
on
gonna
that.
make it a thing, but I did it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You and K-Cup both round on that joint. Yeah, that was dope.
Yep.
That was real dope.
Yep.
I make up, so wake up, cause you don't know the skills of the K-Cut. I make the crazy beats for the lovers of the streets, and I'm raw, keeping it real. That's what I'm getting paid for. So bring it on and watch the main source wreck it. Yo, check it. Let me get a piece of this record. Sir Scratch is ripping this track with a rap that I packed the party people like a sack of a finger snap. Word, we'll run a check on the brothers acting opposite sex and catch rep on time like a Rolex. Now that you know the scientifics, there's no need to be specific. You know what you need, so get with it. What you need is the underground sound.
Yeah. So let's get into Tribal real quick. That's that joint right there. I played it earlier, and we have a reggae show that comes on before us, and
nice.
You know the host, he was like, "Yo, what is that?" I said, "Yo, I actually got the brother who produced it. He's coming on the show." I said, "You just keep listening. You'll hear." You know what I mean? So let's talk about that, man, because again, that's a totally different sound from the main source.
Man, it's just me showing off it's my own little discography. That's what this album's really about, because I produced so many different songs for so many people. My lady was like, you know, it's time for you to do your thing. And I was like, you know what? It is time to do my thing. I was always doing my thing, but when you're producing for other people, they want a particular vibe, or they want to sound like whatever is hot at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm always telling people, I don't do, you know, those kind of records. I do, you know, the future stuff. You know, if you're going to come to me, look for something different. But I always compromise, and I went ahead and do it.
Word.
So it came time to do my album, and then COVID hit. We had everything all planned out. I was going on the road. We were going to do some mini tours. COVID hit. And then I was like, okay, what am I doing? Everything shut down. You know how it went down. Everything shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know, okay, fine. My wife says, why don't you rebuild the studio, build that desk you wanted to do, and finish off that album. And I did that. I ran to Home Depot before the things got crazy. I bought all the stuff. I built my studio over, and I got grimed. You know, we're on a couple of acres here, and I just sat down by myself and just finished off the rest of the record. You know, I did like 30 joints, and I got like 3 albums ready to go after this one.
Wow.
And Tribal was a vibe that I was just coming up with. It was actually based on another track, and I was like, I'm not feeling it. I scrapped it, and I just kept the beat. And I just got that new drum machine by Native Instrument. I can't remember the machine. That's what it was, the machine.
Okay.
I was trying out their sounds in there, and I was like, okay, I don't like these sounds. I'm going to put in my own sounds. And like the Ifrit Club, that gave it a nice little punch. Mm-hmm. And Tribal just came about this feeling of different vibe. I was feeling tribal.
Yeah.
Just like that. I was doing my interpretation of my sound of Tribal. That's what this whole album was about. It's my interpretation. So I kept doing the beat, and I was like, I don't know if I'm liking this. And I said to my wife, do you like this? And she's like, yeah, it sounds dope. I said, all right, you know what? I did this crazy thing. I transferred the track to my cell phone. I played the beat all night. I fell asleep to the beat. I said, if I still like it in the morning, this is the one I'm going to go with.
Okay.
I woke up, the beat's still playing, boom, ka, boom, boom, ka. And I'm like, you know what? This is dope. I love it. Let's keep going with this, you know? And I remember there was a little break in the timeline of when COVID broke a little bit. I went to Texas, and I hooked up with my girl, Antoinette Robeson, who sung on the lyrics. Mm-hmm. And we just got her to just drop some stuff down. We didn't. I said, I just go da 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 da. I don't even think of no lyrics. Let's do some vibe. And she did a little vibe thing. I brought it back, mixed it, and again, the rest is history. It wasn't planned. It was just a vibe thing, and it just turned out really well. You know, I don't try to force the music. I just go where it takes me, and that's how it came out.
Word. Well, we're gonna jump onto it right now, man. Dizzy Scratch is Tribal.
La